Hey, everybody, welcome to the... What, Billy?
You have a phone.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you said.
Well, no, I mean, go ahead. You were doing the show.
No, I know I'm doing the show, but you were going to say so. You were waving and jumping up and down through the glass there, and you rushed in. And so I was about to start the show and say, hey, everybody, welcome to the James Arnold Taylor podcast. I'm James Arnold Taylor. This is the thing, and let's get everybody, and then you were going up and down, waving and all around.
No, I know you was having the phone. Mate.
Okay, I still can't understand what you're saying.
Is it the phone?
The phone. Yes, the phone. Yes, there's a phone.
No, you have to take the phone, and it's Mr. Franklin Dunn's phone.
Okay, I think you said Franklin is on the phone?
Oh, yes, sir, Mr. James, sir.
Just James? So my agent, Franklin, is on the phone.
Yes, sir, Mr. James.
Why didn't you just say that?
I thought I did.
Well, no, it's okay. All right. Anyway, okay, is he on hold?
Oh, yes, sir. I put him on hold there. You just have to hit the button over there. I'll go back in the other phone.
Okay, it's fine. We'll figure it out. Thank you, Billy. Go through. Okay. All right. Good. Thanks. Here, let me just hit that button and...
Listen to the music on the phone and go about...
Hey, Franklin.
I got so excited I didn't know you were there listening.
Well, I just said, I said hey because I picked up the phone because you were on hold.
I know, I love the hold music there. I like that. What is that?
I have no idea.
Oh, it was really good. It was you go, whoa, and you come back.
Okay, Franklin, don't sing. Billy, we were just about to start the podcast and...
Oh, that means I'm on the podcast.
Yes, you're on the podcast. Get used to it, man.
I know, but I don't like the way my voice sounds on the podcast. I sound
You don't sound anything like that.
Well, no, I hear my voice different than everybody else hears it.
We all hear our voices differently than everybody else hears it. That's the way it works. We hear ourselves deeper and thicker and richer and more because our heads are basically a bass cabinet. So we hear ourselves deeper than everybody else hears us. So when you hear yourself played back from a recording, you sound higher.
So you might sound a little bit higher like that.
Oh, that's it. You did it wonderful. You should put that in your stage show.
That is in my stage show.
Oh, it's wonderful. I felt I heard it somewhere before.
All right. Anyway, Franklin, how are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, James Arnold Taylor.
Okay, don't sing anymore, please.
I love to sing.
Well, okay. I don't mean to. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. It's just we're on the show and we're kind of trying to go here. So.
Right. Oh, okay. So I bet you're wondering why I called.
I am, because again, here we were just about to start the show, and then Billy comes in here waving his arms and jumping up and down and saying, oh, you got a phone call, although that's not what he's... Anyways, it doesn't matter. So you're here, you're on the phone. I'm guessing maybe that's a good thing. There's some work or something that you're going to tell me about?
I don't know what.
No, you tell me.
What do you mean?
You called me, you're my agent. I'm guessing you have some news to tell me about something.
Oh, wouldn't that be marvelous? Wouldn't it be wonderful if you had a job?
Yes, it would. Is that why you're calling?
No, I don't even remember why I was calling. I was on hold for so long. But, I love that song.
Okay. Oh, okay. So nothing new, nothing exciting.
Oh, there's all sorts of exciting, wonderful things, but you're on the podcast, right?
Yes, we are on the podcast for the 12th time.
You're exaggerating.
I'm sorry. It's just, yes, we're on the podcast.
Well, I can't say anything then because you're on the phone. You got me on the phone here, and you know what what are they called?
NDAs. Non-disclosure agreements.
Non-disclosure agreement, yeah. One of those I can't say because then they'll say, you said it on the podcast, and everybody will know, although I don't know if that many people listen to the show, so why would it matter?
Hey.
I'm just kidding. Wonderful. You're wonderful, darling. I got so excited I toot.
All right, stop that. Okay, Franklin. Well, okay, so is there something you need to tell me then about a job maybe, but you don't want to say it because we're on the show right now and people will know?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to give me hints?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So how do we want to do this? You want me to guess?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it something related to battles amongst the galaxies?
Battles amongst the galaxies? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Star Wars. I was talking about Star Wars. Is it something Star Wars related?
Well, no. Although you gave it away, you already said Star Wars.
Yeah, but it's not Star Wars.
No, it's not.
Okay. Then is it, okay. Could it be something in regard to Last Legacy, a final in a fantasy world, like the 10th time you might say something, huh?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Final Fantasy? Last Legacy, Final Fantasy. I was being as clever as I could, Franklin.
Oh, Final Fantasy. Oh, you Title.
No, Titus.
Title.
No, Titus or Titus, but I say Titus.
I say title, you say doodle.
I didn't say either one of those.
Okay, darling. Anyways, no, it's not Final Fantasy X, title doodle.
Okay, well then is it... Oh, it's not a socket wrench, it's a ratchety wrench.
Ratchety wrench? You play ratchety wrench? I don't even know that.
No, I was talking about Ratchet from like Ratchet and Clank.
No, it's not that either.
Okay, well then what is it?
Are you ready?
Just, you know what? I mean, look, those are the ones that most people kind of know about and know that I can't say anything about those. So if it's not to do with any of those, it's no job on any of those. So there's no job in Star Wars. There's no job in Final Fantasy. There's no job in Ratchet and Clank that you're calling about right now.
Right. Yeah. That's right. No. None of them.
Okay. But if it's not those, then, I mean, what is it?
Okay, maybe I can tell you. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
You are going to be the voice
Okay.
for
Yes.
a brand new ad campaign
Uh-huh.
for
Yes.
Hostelagans.
What?
Hostelagans.
Hostelagans?
Hostelagans.
Hostelagans.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. What is hostelagans?
It's a thing, and you're gonna be the voice, and they want you to do a thing with a voice and an accent, and you say hostelagans. There you go. Whoa.
I have no idea what you're talking about. And, you know, I mean, is it a good paying job?
What's that?
I said, is it a good paying job, Franklin?
Oh, the hostelagans. I've got a bad connection there. Here, talk to Brian.
No, I don't want to talk to Brian.
What? Wait, what? Who's this?
Oh, hi, Brian.
It's Obi Nobody?
Yes, it's Obi Nobody. Hi, Brian. Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you too, dude. You stink.
Oh, thank you.
You're not Ewan McGregor.
You know, you remind me that I'm not Ewan McGregor every single time we talk. And it's, now, you know, frankly, it's just getting old. I don't think anybody cares what you have to say about it, Brian.
Dude, that was harsh.
Yeah, I know. I was trying it out. It's new for the new year. I was being like harsh James. What do you think?
No, not even, dude. You're not good at it.
Okay.
So you're not in the new Obi-Wan Kenobi thing, are you?
No, I'm not.
You know why?
Because I'm not Ewan McGregor?
Spingo, dude. Here, I'm gonna put my dad back on.
Yes, please. I'm just trying to start my show.
Oh, am I on your podcast?
Yes.
Yeah, everybody, check out Brian's podcast. It's much better than this dumb dude's podcast.
Hey.
It's rock and roll, and we do rock and roll stuff, and it's really cool. You should check it out, It's called Brian's Place. Brian's Place, man. Dude, it's a podcast. Brian Plays Podcast.
Okay, would you stop selling your own podcast, Brian?
Whatever, dude. Here's my dad.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't want to take it. No, I don't want to take it. No, I don't want to take it. No. Goodbye, darling.
Oh, okay. Don't really know the point of that phone call. Hostelagans? I don't know. That's my agent, Franklin, always getting me the big paying jobs for some foreign, I don't even know what it is. Well, I guess I'll find out at some point. But in the meantime, welcome to the James Arnold Taylor podcast. Hey, let's bring in Mr. Announcer Guy and announce the show. What do you say? That's what we do. Hey, Mr. Announcer Guy.
Oh, yes, James.
Hey, how are you?
Solid, baby, solid.
Oh, that's nice. Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, man, Happy New Year to you, too. Did you have a good New Year's?
I sure did. Hung out with friends and family, and it was lovely. How about you?
Yeah, man.
Did you announce New Year's anywhere on anything?
Yeah, man.
Okay. Where?
NDAs, man, I can't say.
Well, if it's over, whatever. All right. Well, Mr. Announcer Guy, you want to introduce the show?
Yeah, man.
I think we're like episode 5 of season 3 now.
Yeah, dude, it's exciting.
Okay, well, go ahead. Oh, Jerry, let's ask how Jerry the Music Man, Jerry the Music Man just always says, you got it, James, and then he plays the music, or you got it, Mr. Nelson. Hey, Jerry the Music Man, He's our kind of 1940s kind of retro music guy. He plays all the music here on the show.
Yeah, James. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Mr. Jerry the Music Man guy. I forget your name.
That's so funny I forgot to laugh.
Okay. So you had a good New Year's?
Yes, I did. How about you?
I had a good New Year's too. I don't know why I'm shouting. I guess because you kind of shout. Everything's Jake, right?
That's right. Everything's Jake with me. Jerry the Music Man.
All right, Jerry. Well, you go ahead and play that music for Mr. Announcer Guy to introduce the show, and then he'll do his thing.
You got it, James. Here you go, Mr. Announcer Guy.
Thanks, dude. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's the James Arnold Taylor Podcast. Talking to myself, the JATcast. It's a new year and a new show.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah, man. So now, here he is, the same guy that's doing all the voices you're hearing, including this one, James Arnold Taylor!
Hey, thank you so much, Mr. Announcer Guy. Thanks for introducing the show. Welcome, everybody. It's a brand new year, and it's a brand new show, and it's all fun and happening. Mr. Announcer Guy, you going to take off then? You got other big announcer things, NDA things to do?
Yeah, man, NDAs.
All right. I'll see you back at the end of the show.
Yeah, dude, totally. I'm going to go now.
Boom. There he goes. Bing. There it is. Ha! Here I am. James Arnold Taylor here, and the James Arnold Taylor Podcast. Like I say, it's a new year, it's a new show, and we're doing these so like every other week now. Every other Wednesday, I'm going to release a show is the hope. That's what I'm going to try to do. I'll do my best, because I felt like if I do it every week, it's almost too much. It's too much James, right? Tell me what you think. You can always say what you think in the comments down on YouTube, because this plays on Spotify, on Amazon, it plays on Apple Podcasts, it plays on YouTube, and the YouTube comments I've been keeping open again. I may open them back up on old videos as well. You guys want me to do that? I can do that, whatever. But I may do that, and here you can put your comments and tell me what you think and all of that fun stuff. If you want the show to be weekly or not. That's, because what else can I do? I don't know. I just felt like doing it every other week gives me a little space. It allows me to kind of think about stuff and have a show ready for you. Although, the funny thing is I don't really have any idea what I'm going to do. I don't. Oops. Oh, listen to that. So that's the show. I'm pulling up. That was Guinevere, I think, from last show. And I'm just pulling up some of the comments. All sorts of comments on the last podcast on the YouTube channel. Mr. True Audio. Listen to that. Mr. True Audio. That's a good name. Says, love you, James. Glad to hear you again. That's nice. Thank you, Mr. True Audio. Georgie Shern says, Shern? I don't know. Says, the moment I put this show on, it immediately put a smile on my face. I hope you had a lovely Christmas. I did. Thank you so much, Georgie. That's lovely. You know what? Let's do this. Because I've been talking about doing this, and I haven't done this lately. Let's read some of the comments on iTunes where people put the comments. Let's see some of the reviews for the James Arnold Taylor Podcast. Let's see. This one was December 20th, 2021 from Audrey S. It says, love this show. It helped me and my husband through some hard times, and we still love it. Thank you, James, for putting your light on a candlestick and sharing it with everyone. God bless. Oh, that's lovely. Thank you, Audrey. That's very nice of you. Jamie Genesis wrote back in September of 2021, I've been a fan of James for years now, and man, do I wish I knew about his podcast earlier. Well, no, that's okay. Because see, now you can go back and listen to them. In fact, maybe it's better because now you have all of those old ones to go back and listen to. I just recently started listening, and I've had to stop myself from binging every episode as fast as I possibly can. Well, that's very nice, Jamie. James has always been a huge inspiration in my life, and his encouraging words, upbeat attitude, and genuine positivity help me see the joy in life. The way he is able to make me physically laugh out loud and sometimes even cry happy tears is just phenomenal. Every episode is something I look forward to, and I try to tell everyone I can about this podcast because it helps me find happiness and inspires me to be the best version of myself. Woo, I did that all in one breath. I have so much respect and love for James. I hope he puts out more episodes soon. Thank you so much, Jamie Genesis. That was back in September, so I hope you are listening now and have found all these new episodes. I hope everybody's found them. Qyuill, Quill? I don't know. Says, I remember hearing his voice in video games and shows as a kid. Listening to his podcast is a breath of fresh air. JAT talks about his insight and beliefs along with some fun voices throughout the episode. Would recommend to friends and family. That's the nice thing. Every once in a while in this world, it would be nice to have something that you could listen to with everybody, or watch with everybody. And that's my goal. That's all I'm trying to do, is just put out some fun stuff for everybody that everybody can listen to. See, when I grew up, I listened to comedy albums. I listened to all sorts of different comedians and stuff, and I loved hearing it. And I loved the theater of the mind. And I loved radio. I loved all of that. I love the fact that you could create stuff just from sound. And that's, of course, what I get to do as a voice actor, But let's look at some more of these. So it's not like I'm reading these so I can pat myself on the back. I'm reading them because those of you that listen to the show, it might be fun for you to hear your comment read by me. This is Victorious Joy. Writes, always a joy to listen to this amazing podcast from such an awesome and interesting person. Well, that's very nice. As a Christian Star Wars fan, it's so refreshing to listen to someone who will open up a show with "Hello there." I didn't open the show up with "Hello there" today, though, did I? Let's pretend this is okay. You just put on the James Arnold Taylor podcast, and I say "Hello there." Okay, so she opens the show with a "Hello there" and then give godly advice about life. I'm in love with the wise words of "Know more than you want to know what you believe and why you believe it," along with the many wonderful characters that JAT brings to life. If you're looking for something that will make you laugh, cry, or give you something to think about, look no further. James Arnold Taylor is the one you're looking for. Now you want to go home and listen to this podcast. They did. I should say that as Obi-Wan. Now you want to go home and listen to this podcast. Well, thank you, Victorious Joy. That was written back in 2021. This is Jen's Atari 2600. I like that. Hey, before I read yours, Jen, if you're listening, I hope you're listening. I had an Atari 2600. That's how old James Arnold Taylor is. I was a kid when the Atari 2600 came out, and my goodness, it was exciting. Are things as exciting for all you kids now? I don't know. I don't know if it's as exciting for you guys when a new game comes out on PlayStation or whatever, because the other problem is it's always just a new system comes out. And then it's like, well, I can't get the new one because people are having trouble getting like the new PlayStation 5, right? But so it's to me, it's kind of frustrating that they do this all the time. It's just like with Apple computers. The iOS has changed. Everything changes. And you got to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars to upgrade everything. But when I was a kid, the Atari 2600 came out, and then you had these games and these cartridges, and there was something thinking about it right now, I can smell it, I can feel it. It's kind of like, remember the movie The Last Blockbuster? I hope you've seen The Last Blockbuster because I am in that movie. In fact, I'm the first person you see and hear in that film, which is pretty cool. I think it's cool. And so, my good friend Zeke Cam was one of the folks behind that movie, and he was kind enough to interview me and put me in that film, and I was very grateful. But talking about those tapes, the videotapes at Blockbuster, it's the same as the Atari 2600. So seeing Jen's Atari 2600, that's just fantastic. I love that. So this is what Jen says. It gives me great peace of mind knowing that I will always hear a professionally produced show from James. Quality sound mixed so well that you don't notice it. A pro-level host that doesn't depend on ums and ahs, has no vocal fry. Oh, well, I hope not. I mean, my voice is a little right now. Does not turn his sentences up into a question. Oh, I don't put them all in a question now, do I? Everything's not a question. Does not run ads interrupting my listening, unless you're on YouTube because they end up putting them in. I don't have them, but they do it. And all the other glaring details that seem to plague many other podcasts out there. Best of all, I can listen freely with my autistic sister, knowing I will never have to vet the episode beforehand, knowing that James will never stoop to cussing, nor will he surprise me with questionable material. Plus, my sister gets a kick out of all the voices. Well, hi, sis. I hope you do. I do not take such a show for granted. Thank you, James. P.S. Totally off subject, but there is another podcast out there called The Shorter, and one of the hosts, Tommy Park, sounds just like Brian. LOL, at least he does to me. Well, and Brian was here on the show today. Oh, well, I'll have to listen to that. We'll have to see. Should I do that right now? Should I look for that? What's it called? The Shorter. Let's see if we hear it.
Right, so I said question 10. Let the record show that Dr. Chappell was correct. God's works of providence is question 11.
Maybe that guy? I don't know. That's funny. Maybe. He might, Rabbit. He might. He might sound like Brian. Okay, that's very funny. Jen's Atari 2600, and I love that it's an Atari 2600. Oh man! So then they made a thing where you could. Activision had games, and yeah, Stampede was my favorite game. I'm going to end up talking about the Atari 2600 the whole episode. Plus, then you know what came out though after the Atari 2600? The Colecovision. Now, not a lot of people know about the Colecovision. I loved Colecovision. And the cool thing about Colecovision was it had Donkey Kong and it looked exactly like the arcade version of Donkey Kong. It was so cool. And there was a Smurf game, and it played Beethoven's music. And the little Smurf walked along and did stuff. Oh man, it was fun. So then the ColecoVision comes out, right? And it has an adapter to play all of your Atari 2600 games. What? My mind was blown. Here's the thing. Dig this. I'm 52 years old. I still have in a box my ColecoVision and with the Atari 2600 adapter and all of the games. I do. I need to hook it up and see if I can play them still. But man, it was a magical time to be a kid back in the 80s when all this stuff first came out, because you got to understand, there was no video games. Okay? We had Pong before that, and we had a Pong machine, and it was the little knobs and beep, 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 and that was it. And then you got the 2600 and then the ColecoVision, or there was Intellivision, and some of my friends had Intellivision, and I had the 2600, and then I had the ColecoVision, and I could still play that. Man, it was a magic time. I'm just saying. It was wonderful. Okay, sorry, I digress. Let's read some more of these from the Apple Podcasts. I'm reading some of the reviews of my show. And again, not to pat myself on the back, but because all of you that write them and take the time to write them, I want to thank you. And I'm reading yours on the air here. On the air. We're on the air. Okay. The Jedi Fan wrote back in March of 2021, JAT talks about his successful career, creates characters who help him on his podcast, but the best part is his inspirational messages about life and how one should be during the good and bad times in our lives. Each episode is worth the listen, and hopefully, like me, everyone will learn life lessons to make the most of our daily lives. That's very nice. Thank you, the Jedi Fan. Oh, let's look at this one. A. Dobesh, back in February of 21, wrote, "This podcast is absolutely amazing." Thank you. JAT is a voice of positivity and inspiration in a world of darkness and negativity. He backs up everything he says with practical application, and he truly cares for his fans. This podcast is fun to listen to, but it will also guide you to change your life for the better. Man, you all are really cool. Okay? I'm just telling you. You all say some really nice things about me. We still have a few more, because I don't think I read all of these before. Berkeley 24601 says, "Hello there. I'm a huge Clone Wars and Obi-Wan fan, so when I heard JAT had his own podcast, I had to check it out. Started with the most recent July 2020 episode, and I definitely plan to go back and listen to all the episodes." Well, hopefully by now they have, right? "These have been difficult times for the world the last several months, and it was refreshing to hear something positive and uplifting for a change. You've inspired me to talk more openly about my Christian faith with my friends, family, and colleagues. By the way, it is also great to listen to a podcast in the car with my little boys sitting in the back, knowing there would be nothing they couldn't hear. In our house, you are Obi-Wan, capitalized Y-O-U. Thank you, Mr. JAT. Looking forward to listening more." Well, you know what? All of you that have written reviews on Apple Podcasts, thank you so much. And if you want to go and give me a positive comment, a 5-star review, and then write a little review, man, oh man, would I be appreciative. And more than likely, at some point, I'd read it on one of the episodes of the podcast like I just did today. Pretty cool, huh? So I'm kind of switching back and forth between those and then the comments on YouTube. And then maybe we'll go and look at some of the comments on Instagram as well. Maybe next time I'll do an Instagram video that says, hey, if you have questions, put it out and all of that. And then you can do that. And then we can get Bob, who reads the emails and the comments and all that usually, to come in and read them. I'm not going to have him come back and read all of that I just read because, hey, Bob. Hey, Bob. Bob. Oh, yeah, and doobity-dee and doobity-doo, James. You did a wonderful job. Thank you, Bob. Sorry I didn't bring you in. Sometimes I get excited about these things, and I like reading all of them myself. Oh, no, I totally understand, James, and totally do, and totally do, twiddly do. Okay, all right. Bob, did you have a Happy New Year? Oh, and yes, indeed, I did. It was wonderful. Did you do anything exciting? Well, no, we just kind of celebrated and we played games. What kind of games do you play? Now, you are, I don't know if people know this, Bob, who reads all the comments and the emails and stuff here on the James Arnold Taylor podcast, he is the uncle to Billy, our intern.
Oh, yes, indeed. He's my nephew.
And Billy, hey, Billy.
Yeah, Mr. James, yes.
So, Bob here.
Yes, Mr. Bob there, yes.
Oh, you can call me Uncle Bob.
Oh, yes, Mr. Uncle Bob.
Bob's your uncle. That's a little joke for all my friends in the UK. So, Billy, Bob's your uncle. Yeah, Bob's your uncle. You guys never laugh at that.
I still don't totally understand it, Mr. James.
Oh, yeah, it's okay, Billy. Thank you. And thanks, Bob. Happy New Year.
Oh, Happy New Year. Yes, indeed. Doodly-dee.
Okay. Oops, I forgot to ask them what games they play. Anyways, I can imagine. Oh, hey, what's that sound? That's right. That's me drinking some water on the James Arnold Taylor podcast. Did you think I'd forget? Oh, wait, no. Did you think you could get away with not drinking water?
Did you think you could get away with it? Did you think I wouldn't know?
That's The Shadow. Remember that? Anybody see that movie, The Shadow, back in the, it was probably early 2000s? Yeah, I would think so. Now, we always got to drink some water here on the James Arnold Taylor podcast. We stay hydrated. Yes, we do. That's what we do. We stay hydrated. Why? Well, because water is so good for you, and not enough people drink water. So we breathe, and we drink water. We get very mindful. Where am I at? Yes. So I got to tell you, I've been in the booth pretty much all day working on stuff. I had some auditions, which I can't talk about because, you know, it's like we were talking about earlier with Franklin, the NDAs and stuff. You can't talk about anything. But then I was also recording for a show that will be coming out at some point, but I can't tell you anything about it. But although I will say this, it is absolutely 100% family friendly, and it's going to be awesome. It's a brand new show, never been seen. And I was singing songs. Every episode in it, I sing a song, and which is really fun. I get to sing, because I don't sing a lot. I used to sing a lot more. Now, when I was a young man, just out of school and doing stand-up comedy, and I played the saxophone, and I would play in bar bands and stuff, and I would go and do my stand-up comedy, and then I would sing. I would sing, and I would play my saxophone. And that was a lot of fun. That was the 80s, man. It was the 80s, so I was singing, what would I sing? I sang a lot of George Thorogood. Bad to the bone. I sang ZZ Top.
Rumors spread around in that Texas town, but the shack outside LaGrange.
That's called LaGrange. I did like Def Leppard. We did a parody song. In fact, I think it's online. It's on YouTube. Somebody made a video of it called Let's Get Spocked to Let's Get Rocked. And I sang the lead, Joe Elliott, who my wife is like the biggest Def Leppard fan in the world. So I had long hair and I was singing like Joe Elliott. Man, I was a rock star. I can play that. You want to hear that? That's a parody song about Star Trek. Take a listen to this.
Beam me up, Scotty, to the Enterprise. Everybody, energize. Warp drive power, phases on stun. It'll just take an hour. We run. Let's get sparked.
I'm not capable of that emotion.
Let's get sparked.
Fascinating.
He's had pointy ears for 30 years. Come on, let's get sparked.
Spock out.
Let's get sparked.
It is somewhat stimulating.
Okay, we did that. I did a ton of parody songs. I sang a lot for the radio network that I used to work for. I have a singing demo you can hear on my website. You go and click the singing demo. It's got a bunch of stuff. It's funny. But yeah, I sang all sorts of things in bar bands in the 80s. Isn't that wild? I think we even sang I think we did some George Michael.
Freedom, I won't let you down. I won't give you up. I would really, really love to stick around. Oh, yeah.
Do 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 do, and I played the piano on it. Do 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 do. Yep, I was a rockin' kid when I was like 18, 19, 20 years old. That's so funny. I forgot I did that. Yeah, I sang and played saxophone in bar bands. In Excess, we did some In Excess. We did some Huey Lewis. You know, it hit me like a hammer, hit me like a ton of lead. Oh, I love Huey Lewis. Talked about him many times here on the show. God bless him. Say a prayer for Huey Lewis, please. Please, please, please. Say a prayer for Huey Lewis. He suffers from Meniere's disease, which is very, very debilitating. And imagine your eardrums fried, and it would when you go to listen to stuff. It's really devastating because he can't sing anymore then. And also say a prayer. If you're someone that prays, pray for Huey, pray for all of those in need in this world and country. That's what we do here at the James Arnold Taylor Podcast. We drink water, we breathe deep, we practice mindfulness, we relax and get into our zone, and we think of other people and we pray for other people, and we try to work through the things that are going on in our own lives and try at the end of it to maybe be a little bit better, maybe a little better off, right? You know, I listened to I watched an interesting message the other night from Pastor Alan Jackson. And Alan he's a wonderful pastor. Not Alan Jackson, the country singer. Alan Jackson, the pastor, the Christian pastor. And he was talking about how we get stuck on these things, you know, of like, oh, this happened before, this is bad and all that. And yet we forget God got us through it. And so it's kind of, I've said things like that before. He gets us through. So like whenever you think, oh man, this is going to happen again, or this, you start kind of like complaining or griping on something, or just are plain scared. What if you're fearful of something happening again? You know, I'll be honest, things like, you know, money and finance, all that stuff, it can be very scary. Every day I wake up, I'm either employed or unemployed. And I'm employed if somebody chose to hire me for the day, and unemployed most of my days. Most of the days that I am unemployed. So it can be scary sometimes because you don't know. And then you go, well, is this it? Are they done with me? Is everybody done? Have they had enough of James Arnold Taylor's voices and all of that and cartoons and stuff? And the phone doesn't ring, or the text doesn't go, or the email doesn't come in, and you audition. So you get nervous. So I say that not like woe is me or anything, but what I'm saying is we all have those things, right? So even I wake up and get on my knees and go, okay, Lord, I hope the phone rings today. I hope that there's work out there. I hope there's stuff that comes up. And in turn, you know, what do? I do things to keep me busy, right? I paint. I'm working on this script and this film with my buddy Matthew Buds. I'm working on this podcast. I'm recording this podcast. You know, I don't make anything from any of these things. And I know I say that a lot, and I don't say that a lot as I don't make anything. I say it as just so people understand, because I think that there's this perception that if somebody is famous in any way or has any bit of celebrity, that they must be financially okay. You know, that's not the case. I have plenty of friends that are well-known people, and they struggle like everybody else. I struggle at times like everybody else. What you have to do as an actor, and people ask you this, how do you do this? You have to plan for the quiet times, for the slow times. For example, this time of year, very slow. There's not a lot going on. So you have to financially plan those things. You have to budget things. You have to take care of all of those things. And all of that stuff can build up stress. And it can make us worry and go, oh gosh, is this it? Is this the time? Because that's the other thing. If you're somebody that actually has a faith in God, you know, folks that don't have a faith, that like if you're listening and you don't, you may also think, well, the people that have faith in God, they have that, and they've kind of got it figured out. No. In fact, if you're somebody that has a faith in God, if you call yourself a Christian and you're a Christian, you probably are maybe even more messed up than some other folks. And I say that jokingly, okay? I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean it because all of us are kind of like, oh man, life is hard, you know, or who is that guy? I liked that voice. Oh man, life is hard. That's Mr. Negative Neil. We'll bring in Negative Neil. That's a new I just created a new character for the show. Hey, Negative Neil. Oh, James. No, I can't even do it. Oh, that's funny. Anyways, we worry about these things, you know? Like, so a lot of people will be like, well, you become a Christian and then God kind of comes in and he takes care. Yes, he does. But you know, the other thing he does is he challenges you, especially if you're a Christian that does what I did once I kind of went, okay, this whole God thing, I'm trying to grasp this, and Lord, I'm going to reach out to you and all that. And you do the thing. It's what they say. They say, careful what you pray for. So I sit there and I go, okay, God, come on. I want to do this to the best. And I thy will be done, not my will, your will be done. And he goes, okay, careful what you pray for. Watch out. And then, the next thing you know, you're dealing with all sorts of stuff. And life, does that to you when you go, I'm going to try to make it better. That's good water. That is good water. Okay. So this is a good message for the first of the year. When you try, because some of you may do New Year's resolutions and such. I don't do New Year's resolutions generally. Although the one thing I'm doing that Pastor Alan Jackson said to do in this last message as well was to read the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So in the Bible, you have the Old Testament, you have the New Testament. And in the New Testament, there are letters from Paul and Peter and John and the apostles. Luke wrote a couple of those. And then there are what we call the Gospels, which are the 4 stories, the first 4 books in the New Testament. And they tell the story of Jesus, his life, his death, his resurrection. They tell that story from 4 different point of views. Really interesting tangent I'm going to get off on for a brief moment. Lee Strobel talks about this in one of his books, one of the last ones that I just read, I think about miracles. And there was a private investigator, a cop, who investigates basically. And he said, because people will read the 4 Gospels and they'll go, they're very different. One will say this and one will say that and all that. And it's like, so it just proves that it's not real. It's like, no, it actually proves the point all the more, because this detective in Lee Strobel's book, when he interviewed him, he said, when we interview people that are telling the truth, that know the facts and have been eyewitnesses to something, all of them get a couple of things different from each other. And it's very common. So I take peace in that. But anyways, so I'm reading through the Gospels. So he said, take 40 days to read through the Gospels. And so I just finished Matthew. I just started a couple of days ago. Finished Matthew, and then I'm going to Mark, and then I'll go to Luke, and then John, and then I'll start over. And for 40 days, I'm just going to read through the Gospels. I still read my Bible at other times of the day, but then my wife and I set a time aside each night and read this right now, because that's like as big of a New Year's resolution as I'm ever going to do. I generally don't do a lot of like New Year's things. I just kind of go, well, it's a new year and I'm going to try to do these things and that things. But a lot of you folks have New Year's resolutions. Well, okay. So this is kind of a good thing. Know this. When you start new things, a lot of times you will hit resistance. You will come up against challenges. And the reason why most New Year's resolutions don't work is because people go, forget it. They just go, I can't, I tried, like with diets and stuff. And that's not the way to go. The thing to do is to go into it head first when you do it. And when you say, I'm making this resolution or I'm going to start something new here. And I look forward to the challenges that I'm going to hit. Because I am going to hit challenges and resistance, and I'm going to come up against stuff. Why? Because I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to change. I'm trying to do new things with my life, which is a beautiful, wonderful thing. So remember that. All this is just a reminder to remember to do those things when you are starting something new. In the new year, don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged when it goes bad. Don't get discouraged when you come up against walls or resistance. Actually be encouraged. That means you're getting somewhere. Okay? Really, really important. You are getting somewhere if you are hitting resistance. If it's all just going easy peasy, lemon squeezy, I love that saying, by the way. It makes me laugh. Then maybe it wasn't too big of a challenge. Maybe it wasn't really something you needed to put your time into. Huh? All of a sudden, I'm Jerry Seinfeld. Okay, I'm just saying. All right. So whatever you're doing, do it with a passion. Do it with a knowledge that you will come up against challenges in it. Okay? And good luck. I pray for all of you, everybody under the sound of my voice that is trying new things this year. I pray the Lord would bless you. bless you and fill you with grace and peace and confidence and wisdom from him and knowledge, knowing that you cannot do all of this on your own. You need accountability partners. You need God above all else. You need friends and family. You need perseverance and endurance and strength and patience and patience and patience and patience. So I pray all of that on you now in the mighty name of my Lord Jesus Christ. All right? That's how I do it. That's how I pray. People will come up to me and they'll say, this and that is going on. And will you pray for it? And I'll go, yeah, sure. And then I'll put my hand on their shoulder and go, you ready? And they'll go, no, I just thought you were just going to, like when you're praying later. I said, well, there's no time like the present. Let's pray now. Because if I say, yeah, I'll pray for you later, I may forget. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to forget. So I just pray for people. If people text me stuff and they, what's going on and whatever, and they tell me stuff that's going on, instead of just going, I'll pray for you, I really try to then just do a prayer right then and there, which, requires prayer of its own, because if you've ever tried writing a text on an Apple iPhone, man, anybody else finding it's getting more and more difficult to type on these things? It used to be easier. I don't know what it is. My phone, the phones get bigger, and yet the buttons seem to work less. It is so hard. It's frustrating, I'm telling you. And it feels kind of like, I don't know, I'm not a conspiracy guy, but it kind of feels like they want us to all change over to the little boop, and you hit the talk thing, and then you just say it. I think most people leave texts that way now. But the problem with that is you have to go, hey, how's it going? Exclamation point or question mark or whatever. And then I'm going to go do this, comma. Are you going to do there? Period. And you have to say all of that. Otherwise, it's just one run-on sentence, which is kind of funny if you're in the car and doing it. Because I use like the Apple CarPlay thing, and so you just hit the button and Siri then has you do it and stuff. And my Siri is, well, here, I'll play it for you. Hey, Siri, say something for me.
Lorem ipsum, dolus et amet, consectator adipisci elit, magna
Okay,
aliquar.
all right. That's enough, Siri. So Siri, I use the British woman voice. I like it. It's kind of like, it's a female Obi-Wan Kenobi. But so it's funny when she reads back, when you do like one long run-on sentence, and she just keeps going and she talks and she doesn't even run out of breath, and she just keeps going on about it, and she just tells you all of this, and then she finally just ends. It's very funny. Hey, look, I do things to amuse myself because nobody else is. No, I don't know what that means. All right. Anyways. Look at this. The time is going so quickly on this episode, and I didn't really talk about much of anything. I read some of your comments. We had some little conversation with Franklin and Brian. That was fun. Bob came in. Yeah. All sorts of fun things, though, coming for the new year. Here's the thing. This movie that I'm doing, we've done now the third draft of the script and made a total change. It is so good. I want to make this movie. And here's the problem. How do you make a movie these days? How do you get money? How do you do all of that? So that's the question. So if people go, hey, James, how can I pray for you? Pray that I am able to make this movie on my own and find money somewhere to make it, because I really, really think this movie is going to be fun for all of you and for other people. And it's my prayer, obviously, that it gets out and put out on like, a Hulu or a Amazon or a Netflix or something, in that a bunch of people see it, I want a lot of people. I want lots and lots of people to see it, because I want it to become something then that people go, well, that was successful. Let's do it again. And then we just keep making movies like this. So this movie that I'm making, that I wrote the script for, it's called The Comic Shop. And it is about an event that is happening at a comic shop. And there are 5 kids waiting in line, and they are the first 5 in line. And they come from various walks of life, and they meet there. And they get to know each other there, and it's a lot of fun. And that's all I'm going to say about it at this point. But we are looking for artists and animators, okay? Artists and animators. If you're an animator and you listen to the show, hey, do me a favor, drop me a comment in the comments on YouTube. Go to the YouTube for this episode and drop a comment in. And if you have a reel, and you can send a link in that of like some of your work so I can see it, do that. If you're an artist, you can do the same thing. You can send, a link to some of your work so we can see it and check it out. We need folks that are real artists, okay, that really know what they're doing and know how to do it all. And we have quite a few animations that are going to go on in this film. It's not an animated movie, but it has animated sequences, of course, because, hey, it's my movie. Come on. And so we are looking for animators. We are looking for artists. And my buddy Joe Hogan, of course, who does it's just so much stuff for my show, my stage show, my YouTube channel. He is going to be the primary art designer and director for the movie. But we need other artists as well because it's a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on. So if you're interested in getting a credit in a movie, and frankly, that's probably it because we have no money. So if you're interested in building your resume and getting a credit in a movie, then drop a comment in here. There will be a place. It's not been announced yet. There will be an email address. It will not go to me. It will go to the people, the other folks that are dealing with this. So when we release that email, I don't want everybody going, oh, I just want to write an email to James Arnold Taylor. That's not the way that one works. This one is just for the film. So we will have a place for people to email us information and all of that soon enough, and we'll announce all that here on the podcast. I'll probably make some videos for my YouTube channel about it because we're trying to decide ways. Look, if we could raise, dream of dreams, if I could raise $25,000, I mean, that's a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money when you consider it for a movie. Then, wow, that would be great. So don't know if some people, and so we're thinking about doing some things, not necessarily crowdfunding, but maybe where I sign things and then all the money that I make from that goes to the film and the production. And then everybody they get a credit in the movie or something if they give enough for the signature of a specialty signature thing or something. I don't know. We're talking about different things. And we're just trying to raise, a good 25 grand. So obviously, if we could raise more than that, it'd be wonderful. But if we could raise $25,000, it would really be wonderful. So that's what we're going to try to do to make this little movie, because we have all the cameras, we have all the gear, we have the locations, we are auditioning the actors for some of the parts. Obviously, my part's already been cast. It's me. Catherine Tabor's going to be in it. My friend Matthew Budds is going to be in it. There's going to be some cameos from some voice actors and people in it. That's really cool. But we are going to be looking for 5 young people to be the next big stars. That's exciting, isn't it? So anyways, if you are, well, I guess I could say this. If you're an actor and you're in the state of Tennessee, be listening for chances to maybe audition. What do you think? Look, we're trying to do this as grassroots as possible. I want to make a movie for the fans with the fans. That's what I want to do. And this movie is about Comic-Con, fan life, all of us that enjoy all these fun pop culture things. That's who this movie is for. But it's also for anybody because it's just a sweet movie about sweet people doing sweet things. I don't know. Anyways. Okay, so there you go. That's going to wrap up this episode of the James Arnold Taylor podcast because I have blathered on long enough, haven't I? My goodness. So what are we doing? We're getting ready for New Year's stuff, right? And we're not going to let it get us down when things get challenging, right? Keep going forward, all right? Always moving forward, as my buddy Joe Sikora says. Let's take one last drink of water. Come on. Have you been sipping your water through the podcast? I hope so. Fun stuff abound. There's a lot of fun, cool stuff that's coming up here in the new year. A lot of fun things I've been working on. A lot of, more than just the one show I mentioned that I was singing on today and working on. There's a couple other shows that are going to be coming out at some point. I can say nothing other than that. But all of them, I'm really proud of, and I can't wait for them to all come out and for all of you to see them and get to the point where I can actually talk about them. I would guess probably, next year at this time, they all will have been out, and I will be able to go, hey, really, you remember I was telling you all about that? And you'll be like, yeah, that's so cool. And I'll be like, yeah, that's cool. And then we'll all go, yeah, that's cool together. I don't know. Anyway, and my movie, wouldn't that be wonderful if my movie is actually finished and done by then? I'll tell you, you know what I really, really, really want? My big dream is to get Matthew West. Do you know Matthew West? Hey, if you don't know Matthew West, please go to your Spotify or your Apple Music or wherever and look up Matthew West. My goodness, you do not have to be a Christian to love amazing music. And he's a fantastic musical artist. He's one of my favorites. And I wrote the opening sequence of my movie with one of his songs in mind. And I really, really, really hope to get him to give us permission to use that song. And obviously, we'll have to pay some money for it and stuff. So that's the other reason why we're going to need to raise some money for this film. And I want him to be involved. So he has a podcast. If any of you listen to the Matthew West podcast and he has like a way to write in and tell him you want James Arnold Taylor on his podcast. I really want to do his podcast. I think it'd be fun. I think we'd have a great time. I think we're like minds, and I just would love to be on his podcast. So there you go. So if you're a fan of Matthew West, tell him, hey, Matthew, you need to connect with James Arnold Taylor. Okay, there you go. And we're in the same area. So we live in the same area, and I don't think it'd be difficult to find. So anyway, and we have mutual friends. But anyways, I'm going to try that on my own. But also, all of you, let him know. That's all, right? You let him know. Okay, everybody. I want you to have a wonderful rest of the week. And until the next show. And again, let me know in the comments if you want me to do this more weekly or just every other week. I know most people are going to say weekly, please. But I just need to make sure I have stuff to say. That's all. Hey, that's a Matthew West song right there. You got something to say. If you're living, if you're breathing, you got something to say. Singing all sorts of things today. Alrighty. Anyways, I guess we should bring in Mr. Announcer Guy. I didn't do a lot of voices for you on the show today. I hope that's all right. Hank wasn't even here. A show without Hank? I don't know if we can do that, can we? I don't know. Hey, Hank! 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 He's standing right outside the booth and he's not coming in. He's putting his hands up like, what? Come in here.
What? Hello. I mean, the show's over. You didn't even bring me on. What?
Well, no, I don't. Look, normally you're around. You weren't around when I started the show. And Billy was jumping up and down and the phone call and stuff. You're the engineer. You should be out there engineering.
Well, I was busy. I got stuff to do.
Yeah, what were you doing?
I was playing Colecovision.
No, you weren't. You're just doing a little callback to the opening of the show.
Yeah, I like the Colecovision, though, because...
you actually said it right.
I like that Donkey Kong.
I knew it couldn't last.
Yeah, that's good. And the
Smurfs.
You had a Rocky Balboa video game on the ColecoVision where you boxed like Rocky Balboa. Yo, Adrian!
Yeah, that's right. There was a Rocky game. That was a lot of fun. Well, Hank, we have covered a lot of stuff here on the show, and we're ready to end the show now. So anything you want to say to everybody?
Yeah, you should listen to Brian's podcast. The Brian podcast is much better than the James Arnold Taylor.
Hey. That's enough.
I think Brian's a pretty cool kid.
You would. You would think Brian's a cool kid. All right, Hank. Thanks for coming in, at least.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay. Before I close the show, I had a conversation with my wife because I do these voices, and her and my daughter love all the characters. We should have my daughter back on the show sometime. That was one of my most popular episodes, I think. People loved when Lydia was on. I'll have her back on here soon. And I was saying to my wife, I don't know what they're going to say. She's like, you know what they're going to say. And I go, no, I don't. I really don't. I have no idea. When Hank comes in, what he's going to say. I didn't know what Franklin was going to say with the thing and I just make it up as I go. I hope you're making your life up as you go in a good way. I hope you know more than you want to know. I hope you know what you believe and why you believe it. And I hope you come back and visit me here on the James Arnold Taylor podcast next time. God bless you, man. I just love you all. I believe in all of you. Many of you that heard the last episode where I said I believe in you and it made a difference to you. Guess what? I still believe in you. Okay? You got this. You have got this little thing called life. Life is weird and hard right now, but you know what? We've got this. Let's remember what made so much great in this world, in this country, is people believing that they got it. You got it, man, okay? Do some cool things this week. And let's bring in Mr. Announcer Guy to close the show to do a cool thing. Hey, Mr. Announcer Guy!
Oh, yes, James.
So the new legal mumbo jumbo, you got to remember to say 2022, copyright 2022, all right?
Yeah, man, I got it.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I shouldn't even question you. Hank, maybe.
I heard that.
Yeah, I know you did. I'm on a microphone, and there's speakers playing. Of course you heard that. Go ahead, Mr. Announcer Guy. Sorry.
Yeah, dude. Talking to Myself, the James Arnold Taylor podcast is a production of Yumigo Inc., recorded at JAT Studios. Engineered, written, recorded, and produced by, you guessed it, James Arnold Taylor. All voices are parody and should be construed as entertainment only. All music and sound effects used with permissions and licenses through Backtracks, Digital Juice, Production Tracks, and Partners in Rhyme. James Arnold Taylor's Talking to Myself, the podcast. Copyright 2022. All rights reserved. See that? Didn't miss a beat, man.
No, you didn't. You never miss a beat, Mr. Announcer Guy. You are a true professional.
Yeah, dude.
All right, Happy New Year. May the Force be with you. And as Obi-Wan would say if he was leaving a room, goodbye there. Bye-bye.